Hello everyone, Ishani here, a student of Trinity Western University, pursuing her Masters of Arts in Leadership Healthcare. Now, leadership is a very captivating word, isn't it? It's a big word, certainly. Now, I've started my leadership journey when I was a child. I was in my growing age. I have been taking certain responsibilities here and there. In my teacher's absence, to volunteer for being the monitor, to take the chartship in my house when my parents were away, but for the fact, I was not aware what is leadership. I was rather not aware, I was a leader by that time. But when I got into my second job is when my original leadership journey has started, which made me introduced to what it is being a leader, what it requires to be a leader, and what makes a good leader. The journey I'm going to walk you through with me is a journey of Ishani's ACEs. You might be wondering, Ishani is your name? Sure. What is ACEs? Now, as I believe, being a leader, it is very important to have an identity, an individual identity for yourself and for your team. That is how people are going to know you. That is how people are going to recognize you. Isn't it the reason that every country has a separate name? Isn't it that every union has that unique name? And that is the same reason I have named my team after ACEs. Now, to take few seconds of yours, the reason I have named after aces is ace is one in the game of cards. Ace has a veto power, which means I used to tell my people, my team, that you can win over any situation. You have that power within you. You can make the impossible do. To share a little bit more insights of my leadership journey, my previous leadership journey, while I was accountable for 20 members, I was equally accountable for my own self. The reason is I did not want to have a followers. Certainly, that there is a good thing. People are following you, people are listening to you. Oh, of course, you're a boss. But more than that, I wanted to create inline leaders, which means I wanted to help them become the best version of myself. According to me, what I used to follow is leadership is never only about delivers. That is certainly one important thing you would want to give to your company, the delivers, the numbers, whatever that you're responsible for. But more than that, being a leader, you're growing the other person. You're helping them understand their strength. You're helping them reaching towards the company's goal and to their individual goal as well. And that is what I was working upon. As much as effective leader I was making, being a good mentor, to that of being a good listener, to being a friend as well, I understood there was something missing. I was not able to figure out by that time what is that. Because the famous metaphor says, leadership is never about a position, but rather it is about a mindset. And for that reason, Jim Rohn, one of the famous leader of current era, have helped me understand a lot via his podcast in a very precise way, that how much it is important to upscale yourself, how much it is important to have leadership qualities, and it is never enough. You always can sharpen your saw, as it is mentioned in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People book. Now that is when I understood there was certain gap, there was certain need, is when I thought I certainly have a big picture in line for me. I certainly would want to work for something better. And that is when I made my way over here and I have enrolled myself into this leadership program. Over the course of my first semester, what I have learned is there was certain practical aspect. And it is very true that leadership is different when we study, but to implement leadership is certainly different. What touched me during this past few days is the concept of servant leadership. The reason is that myself have found servant leaders around me who are ready to serve. As Greenleaf have mentioned, that servant leadership comes from within. You don't have to impose on anyone. It is when one wishes to serve other person, and that according to me is the best leadership strategy, which means that you're keeping others priority, you're keeping others need first, then your need. You're helping them understand their importance, their value in the very organization you're working. I believe servant leadership is not only about to practice in the organizational setup, but also it is something to practice in your day-to-day life, in your family setup as well. As much as I understood, The big idea that I have for me, for my future, is that I certainly would want to work as an entrepreneur, for which I would want to have my own company. And only this time, I would want to make sure that I am making a good leader. Now, I always want to see myself and my team or my people growing each and every day, professionally, personally. To leave you all with two questions or two thoughts today. First is, what is your leadership philosophy? Kindly let me know. And the second thing is that, how would you measure the impact and success of your leadership? Take care. Thank you.